and in definition, and in dedication, and detachment, let us focus a little bit more on the last D, detachment. The idea, as we have already explained, is that, of course, when you get into the appropriate state of your being, with regard to what vibration is who you are, what vibration is recognized as who you are not, you can allow yourself to detach, in a sense, by not giving any particular kind of spin or meaning and of a negative consequence to those things, those situations and circumstances that you recognize have nothing really to do with you. And we would like to amplify the concept a little bit of detachment in the sense that it is a little bit of an important vibration to keep around as an overall atmosphere in which to experience the entire process we have described today of your time. In other words, not to dampen down your passion and enthusiasm and excitement and desire, but with all of that, you can still create an overall bubble of neutrality so that you can practice approaching every situation in life with that kind of attached detachment that allows you more freedom to experience what you really prefer in terms of energy, in terms of desire, in terms of getting in touch with the definitions, in terms of dedication. So detachment in that sense is not only a result of moving through the first three, it's also in some senses a bubble that wraps up all the others and in which you can progress a little bit more quickly, a little bit more efficiently. Because if you maintain that sense that everything is neutral and allow yourself to get into the practice of not automatically ascribing negative meaning to things in the way that you might have done in the past, so to speak, you will give yourself an edge. You will give yourself a little bit more of an opportunity to be able to home in on the first three energies more strongly. You will give yourself a little bit more of a chance to catch yourself and remember when you face any given circumstance, when you face any given situation, to bring to bear the toolkit with the desire, with the definition, with the dedication that will lead to more detachment from what is not you by maintaining an overall sense of detachment. Because really you are an eternal being. You're an infinite being. There's no rush. There's no hurry. There's no deadline per se. The idea is that you really have all the time in the world because you create the time that you have. So allow yourself to have a kind of sauntering energy through all of this, even with the idea of passion. You can still allow yourself to saunter into any given situation, size it up, assess it, take a moment, give yourself some space. You don't have to feel like you're trapped in the situation in any way, shape, or form. Use that tool of detachment to give yourself that moment of pause so that you can fully assess what's going on and remember to take that neutral position, to diffuse the old definitions you may have been taught to automatically imbue, the old meanings you may have been taught to automatically assign to any given situation. Wear that detachment a little bit like a jacket, like a coat, like a garment, as you walk, as you saunter easily and smoothly through your lives, to give yourself the opportunity to remember the rest of the tools and bring them out to bear and use them and apply them to what's going on in the situation that you have attracted yourself into. Now, also please remember, and again, non-judgmentally, but at the same time understand there are consequences to actions in physical reality in the way that you understand. So, at the same time, remember that while you're applying this desire and this definition and this dedication and this detachment, because you are physical beings, I simply once again remind you, these things will work more powerfully for you when you put yourself into the proper state also physically that allows them more opportunity to flow through you in an unimpeded way, which again means the more you allow yourself to have a clean system, the more you detoxify, the more you keep yourself hydrated, the more you take care of yourself in that way and lighten up what you put in your body and make sure it's as toxin-free as possible, in a sense, the more impact these tools will appear to have. And it will not, in your terms, take as long for you to get the hang of it. It will not, in your terms, take as long for you to feel their effect. Because you are not, in that sense, putting impediments that allow the flow of energy to, in some senses, have to find other routes and give that energy other things it needs to deal with as well. But again, it's up to you. All we are simply saying is, if it doesn't seem to be going in quite the way you thought it would, take a look at what you are doing to yourselves physiologically and understand that if you want it to be a little bit more powerfully effective, then you will need to change some of those other things as well. And of course, because many of those things are also connected to other belief systems and core issues, the beauty here is that you can use these tools to allow yourself to get a handle on other things such as physiological effects that you may be doing to your body that also do slow those effects down. So you can use that to clean up what is slowing it down and then feel the effect of going a little faster. Up to you, just letting you know everything is a factor because you are physical beings in that sense. And you do need to take that into consideration just so you know. So if you're looking around saying, well, it's not really happening, look at what you're doing and see if there's something you can clean up. Because that will usually make a difference in how effective these tools can be. Now, if you feel that doing these things, perhaps, that put these toxins in your body, ensure that you're moving at a pace you can handle, then by all means continue if you want to continue at that pace. It's up to you. I'm just letting you know everything has a consequence. And you have to look at the whole picture, not just think that you can keep doing things that are behaviorally the same as you used to do. Remember, dedication, and get the full effect of all the other parts of the tool. All the parts must come to bear, and what we are now talking about falls into that category of being dedicated to doing this with yourself, for yourself. So, behavior is connected to the idea of demonstrating exactly how dedicated you are to staying in alignment with things that are representative of the vibration of who it is you say you prefer to be. Just take that into account without judgment. We love you unconditionally. And again, please remember that no matter what you do, you are always interesting television. So, on that note, let us look at the enneagrammatic circuit. Now, you will notice, again, based on the term enneagram, it refers to the idea of a nine-folded idea, a nine-layered idea. You have the number of completion in that sense, 9. And so you will find, and as we say, this is just a little extra tool, a little extra boost to provide some focus in doing all the other things that we talked about and all the other exercises and moving forward in that way. This can also just add a little extra boost, a little extra focus. You can do this once a day. Again, just by looking at that enneagrammatic circuit and going from the center to the upper right, down, across the bottom, up the left side, and across the top to the center, and back down to the middle point. And as you do that, as you go through that motion with your eyes, reciting the sentence below it. It's a type of affirmational technique, a type of affirmational tool that will key into ancient vibrations that will reach the subconscious mind, the collective conscious mind, the world mind, will tie you to your roots and propel you toward the future. It has a kind of spice to it. In a sense, it's adding a certain kind of flavor and a certain kind of seasoning to the overall tools that we have given you with regard to the spiral and the understandings and the meditations that have come in this dialogue today. So doing this also once a day can be of assistance to you, and if you wish, you can do it either before or after what we have already talked about in terms of going through the recitation of the 4 Ds and doing the spiral and making your notations in that sense. You can do it before and after that little exercise of the 4 trips down the spiral. It's up to you. Wherever it is you like your seasoning, wherever it is you like your flavoring, just to add a cap to it, just to add a pinch of salt to it, do this little enneagrammatic circuit in conjunction with the other thing, and we will let your imagination be the guide as to exactly how and when and where you will perform this. But it adds just a little bit of focus and a little bit of flavor that will spin it out of your imagination in a different direction, specifically tailored for you. It will call upon your particular place in your society, in your culture. It will bring out the flavors of all the things that make you as a person unique. It will bring them to the surface and bring them to bear on all the other exercises that we have talked about today. So it's just a little bit of a rounding out tool that will help put a little bit of polish on the other ones that will do it specifically in your way, calling out the unique characteristics in you that will enrich the other tools to work for you specifically, in your vibrations specifically. So, and remember the common word, dream, on the other lists. Allow yourself the idea of the mechanism of dreaming. And again, this is not only the idea of what happens to you physiologically, but the idea again of your passion, the idea of daring to dream, of letting the dream that you know you are be valid, be valued, be appreciated. So, use these in conjunction. And again, remember, in the way that we participated here today, if you will do this, up to you, but if you will do this with the degree that you did it today in that fashion of energy and application, you will find that within 30 to 90 of your days, there will be tremendous changes in your life. Tremendous opportunities coming in, tremendous insights that will come to you in a variety of ways. You're really beginning to open the floodgates now. Let it come through at whatever rate you're comfortable, but let it come through. You're ready for it. We would not be delivering this if you were not. We would not be delivering this if you were not. Believe me, we have checked with lots of different sources and gained the permission of lots of different sources connected to your world to know that now is the time for this kind of tool. You are ready for it. Do it whatever way makes you comfortable, but you're ready for it. Don't doubt that, because it wouldn't be happening if you weren't. Let us continue with sharing of questions if there are more clarifications needed on the material that has been delivered this day. or other issues that are at the core.
Good day, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I've been dreaming various dreams about with everyone in each moment doing the most exciting thing they're capable of doing.
Yes.
And I would like to expand my understanding of the ideas of excitement and motivation.
Yes.
The idea of excitement being the physical translation of the vibrational energy that represents the path I've chosen to be.
Yes.
Is that apply like a local law or when you're in physical embodiment, or why is that not a fifth universal law?
The idea is simply based on the notion of what you put out is what you get back. That's the third law. What we are simply saying is that the vibration itself is what determines that. And the vibration of your natural state of existence, the first law, is much higher than you think and generally translates in your particular dimension as the sensation of excitement. So this statement is simply a more detailed explanation of some of the principles that go hand in hand with the laws as we have already described them. It's not an additional law, it's an explanation of the characteristics of the laws we have already described.
Understood, yes. And for some people, is it possible that excitement for them is to create pain and anger and separation?
In some senses, yes, and this is why we have said very often that you must pay strict attention to the concept of what it is you are calling excitement. In a sense, it's actually not their excitement, but they, through their motivations and through their fears, may label it as such. And it is up to you to learn through self-honest examination to be able to discern the difference between excitement in that sense and anxiety. Do you follow me?
Yeah, so let me see if I do. If everyone then is in their, what they perceive, the belief that they put out, what they perceive to be the most exciting thing they can do, when that is in alignment with their true isness,
yes,
then they will be expressing joy and laughter in that
yes.
sense.
It is simply the natural state that goes hand in hand with that vibration. There may be, in certain circumstances, a few exceptions, but that will be done for very specific reasons. For the most part, you can be relatively assured that the idea of the generation of pain is not a result of the generation of excitement. It is usually the result of the idea of dampening down the excitement and giving over to fear. Because pain is simply resistance to the natural self.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, and so then we're motivated to do what we perceive to be will bring us closest to pleasure rather than pain.
As we have described, motivation is a big key in understanding what's going on and whether or not you're actually generating fear or joy, excitement or anxiety, because motivation is the key that underlies knowing the difference. As we have described, as you are pointing out, motivation is simply, again, based on definition. You will do the things you believe and perceive to be more pleasurable and less painful, and you will not do the things you believe and perceive to be more painful and less pleasurable. Now, that's where, shall we say, the trick comes into it. Because when someone is doing something painful, but they say they are following their excitement, what they are not paying attention to is the belief system they have that is attached itself, so to speak, or you have attached it, to the painful act that is somehow defining the doing of that painful act as actually more pleasurable than what they have defined the alternative to be because of their fear that's attached to that. And that's where I understand it can get a little tricky. But do you understand what I am saying mechanistically?
Yes.
Anything you perceive to be pleasure, you will move toward. Anything you perceive to be pain, you will move away from. But you have to pay attention to how you're defining pleasure and pain.
Yes.
So the idea is that many people will do a painful thing because to them, to follow their true joy might actually in some senses seem to be more painful than the painful thing they're doing. So they'll move away from that. Even though it might actually ultimately give them joy, they don't perceive it in a joyful way because of their definitions of it.
Understood. Thank you.
Yes.
As far as Question just got away from me. Come back here.
Oh, there it is. There it goes. Out the door.
Could you give me an idea what percentage of the global population is aware of consciously and capable of sharing the ideas with others of the 4 universal laws at this time?
Well, they don't all express it in the way that we have, but many have an innate understanding of what we are saying, even though they may use different terminology. You follow me?
Yeah, it's within all of us. I'm just curious in terms of everyone, what's the percentage of people in the population actually are consciously aware of it, and to the point where they could share the ideas, the 4 laws, with other people. They could write them down.
3%.
3%.
Now, don't get discouraged. Understand, as we have explained before, positive energy is integrative and geometrically expands as compared to negative energy, which segregates. The idea is that you don't need as many people understanding or creating the positive vibration to outbalance the idea of the number of people expressing a negative vibration, because the positive is integrative and geometrically expands, and so it doesn't take as many people in that vibration to equal the power of more people in the negative. Does that make sense?
Yes.
The idea as it's been expressed in your society as a symbol. I'm not saying this is a literal number. The idea as it's been expressed as a symbol, as a metaphor in your society is the 144,000. The idea is simply that compared to, let's say, 1 million or 2 million or 5 million people, all it takes is 144,000 in the positive to absolutely outweigh the millions in the negative. Because the positive is integrative and expands geometrically collectively. And it doesn't take that many to outweigh the negative. So not everyone on your planet has to be looking at a positive thing in order for there to be a lot of positive energy being given to your planet. You follow me?
Yes.
But in the way you asked the question, it's 3%. There is actually a larger percentage of people that are moving in positive directions, but you asked what percentage can actually completely comprehend and state some variation of the 4 laws, and it's 3%.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
I've heard 2 stories related to Jeshua.
Yeshua, yes.
Yeshua.
Yes.
And Judas.
Yes.
One in which it is said that Judas betrayed Yeshua,
yes,
by turning him over to Pilate. And,
yes.
And the other was in which Yeshua asked Judas to do that.
He didn't ask him to do it. He told him he would do it.
Judas told Yeshua he would do it?
No. Yeshua told Judas he would do it.
And explained to him he would be treated as a betrayer
yes,
in doing so.
Yes.
And Judas accepted
yes,
to do that for reasons
with
of his
great pain and anguish, but understood why, and so yes, accepted the role.
And he was perhaps one of the closest friends to Yeshua.
Yes, and that's why he was chosen.
All
because right. Yeshua knew he would do it because it needed to be done to illustrate a point.
So in terms of their relationship, they were at complete integrity with each other.
Absolutely.
In this action.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
The story of Gilgamesh, is that related to somebody who actually existed?
It is. Back in the time of the ideas of Enki and the early manifestations of extraterrestrial consciousness and other civilizations upon your planet. It is somewhat amalgamated and jumbled up and has evolved into somewhat of a fable, but nevertheless it is based on some real incidents and real people, even though it has become mostly metaphorical. Yes.
Oh, all right. Does the term Gilgamesh have a translation into English?
Well, yes. One moment. It might be a little bit unusual for your language, as there are idiomatic concepts in a variety of languages that don't translate completely across the board. Gilgamesh is an interesting combination of creator and destroyer simultaneously. That which destroys and creates. That which creates and thus destroys. Does this make any sense in your language?
Yes.
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 All right.
A destroyer and a creator. Is it?
Yes, but not necessarily in the way you might think of the concept of destruction.
Destruction for the purposes of higher creation?
Yes. Perhaps in a more technical way of looking at it, you could say a disassembler and reassembler.
For a positive in new creation?
Well, it's somewhat actually neutral.
Neutral.
Even though the universe is slightly biased toward the positive, it's in that balanced point. Because from the universe's perspective, there isn't an agenda in that. It's simply a description of the nature of a particular state of consciousness and a description of what that state of consciousness was designed to do. Be the disassembler and reassembler. Does that make more sense?
Yeah.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you,
So
Bashar.
Gilgamesh is like a verb, in a sense. It's actually more a verb than a noun. It's a description of a process at the very center of creation.
Yeah.
And it has been used in the past as more of a declaration than a description. When you witness that moment where all polarization comes together in a single moment, where all dichotomy blends together into one, you might call it in one of your languages a gestalt or an aha, but in ancient times, that moment, that experience was a Gilgamesh. Do you understand?
Yes.
Does that help?
Yes, thank
But
you.
it was with a specific recognition of the specific idea of the destroyer and the creator, of the disassembler and the assembler, blending into one concept. With that revelation came Gilgamesh, the birth of an identity and an entity and a consciousness that represents a very specific state of being in reality on many different levels. Did this translate all right?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Much love, Bashar.
And to you as well.
Good day, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Thank you. I have been realizing that I don't have any excitement left and no passion.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
Then why did you come today?
Because when I heard the name Bashar, I went, oh, okay.
So you mean you had some excitement
Yes.
left?
But there,
But you just said you had no excitement. But then all of a sudden you had excitement.
well, that's because you appeared.
Well, but I can't create that in you.
Yes, that's true.
You must have chosen to be excited.
Let me rephrase that then. I really don't seem to have a direction in my life or what I want to do or a passion for anything.
Oh, all right. So what do you want to do about that?
I would like to know how to get the fire back, the passion back.
Why do you want to know that?
Because otherwise there's really no reason for me to be on the planet.
Well, sure there is. Otherwise you wouldn't be. Believe me, this is not a mystery. This is not a mystery. It is not part of the agreement that you can in any way, shape, or form fool. If it is time for you to not be on the planet, all you have to do is lie down, close your eyes, and say, it's time for me to go. If you can open your eyes 10 seconds later, it's not time for you to go, or you would have gone. If you're not gone, it's not time for you to be gone. There is no accident about that. It's a perfect orchestration.
I understand.
So if you're where you are on the planet, there's a reason for it.
Correct.
Now, so what you are saying is you are attempting to figure out or how to invent or realize or recognize that reason or give yourself that reason.
Right.
All right. Now,
Thank you.
the very fact that you are asking for that
Right.
means you have passion, because that's what you're passionate about. Finding that passion. You understand?
Yes.
All right. So you have passion. This is similar to the idea we said before and in another variation where people think, oh, I'm only using 10% of my brain. No, you're using 100% of your brain to make it seem as if you're only using 10% of your brain. You are right now using your passion to make it seem as if you have to discover your passion. And that's exciting, because you're putting mystery into it. You're interpreting it with belief systems in a way that makes you experience it lethargically or depressively, but that's what you're actually doing. You are hiding things from yourself and creating a mystery that requires discovery. You're taking yourself on a detective journey to discover your passion. All you need to do is approach this from a more positive point of view with positive definitions, and suddenly you will find that it will not be depressing or sad. It will suddenly be that you are presented with a very interesting mystery to completely redefine yourself from scratch and really find out who you are. This is the task and the challenge you have set for yourself, is to be your own detective novel. And find out who you are, look for the clues, get curious, explore the mystery, see how this goes with that or that goes with this, and why did that happen, and what does that mean, and what meaning am I putting into this? And approach it that way, and you will find that that journey will be very, very engaging indeed. So the approach is really what needs to shift here, not the idea of finding your passion. Your passion is to find yourself through mystery. You just need to change your approach to the idea that that's what you need to do. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But
It's like I have no drive to do it.
But you don't need drive.
And I resist. I try.
all right, now you're on to something.
Okay.
The resistance tells you that there is energy there. And again, the only reason you're experiencing the energy as resistance is because of the definitions that you have. Do you have any curiosity about yourself at all?
Yes.
What?
The original self. That
The-
I know that I'm
all
much
right.
more than I am.
Then that's all it takes. The curiosity will create the drive. Just maintain the balance in the curiosity energy. Maintain a presence in curiosity to find out who the original you is. That's the detective mystery. You don't need drive. Curiosity will do it. It will bring into your life circumstances that will arouse your curiosity further, and you will then take steps. Don't think about it as needing drive. Just remain curious about who you are as openly as you can, and it will start a momentum rolling. One moment. Is there any place on your planet that you would rather be physically?
I've been asking myself that, and
What has come up? Don't edit it.
okay.
What has come up? Don't put conditions on it. Well, I've been thinking about going there, but I could never do that, or I don't have enough drive to do. Don't edit it.
Okay, Italy.
What? Italy. Why?
It's just the green and the peacefulness of it.
Oh, and it has nothing to do at all with the fact that that country on your planet is primarily known for passion, is it? Where in Italy would you like to go first?
I really don't know. I've just seen videos of the aerial
Yes.
over it, and it's beautifully green and
Yes.
old. And
Yes.
yeah.
All right. So when will you go to Italy? Because you're giving yourself a sign that the vibration that you need to be in is part of the process of truly discovering yourself. Remember, when we talk about the idea of acting on your excitement, it's a whole picture. It's not just what you do, it's also where you do it. That's part of the whole picture. If you are attempting to do your excitement in a place that's not representative of your excitement, you're not doing your excitement.
Yeah.
So if you know that Italy is a place that represents something that is more you, then by all means, go there. And you will see that something will happen that will help you continue that journey of finding who you are. So when will you go to Italy?
I have no idea.
When will you go?
I don't know.
Do you want to go?
Yes.
Well, are you willing to allow your life to synchronistically show you that you can go?
Yes.
All right, that's a start.
That was a struggle.
Be willing to allow into your life something to come in that will show you you can easily get there. Don't put any assumptions or expectations on how people tell you are the only ways you can possibly get there. Well, you have to have this, and you have to have that, and you have to have this. There are people sitting in the room with you right now that never let anything like logic stop them. They simply allow themselves to know that they can put it out, that that's what they desire, and they then get other people to respond in a way that supports that dream. So just put it out that that's where you want to go. In all the ways that you can, share that information with people as you have done here today. Act on whatever opportunities may present themselves that carry at least some degree of, if not excitement, at least curiosity. You can start that as a form of baby excitement. Follow it, act on it, see where it leads. It will probably lead you very quickly to Italy. Don't assume you cannot get there. Because if that's what's enticing you, if that's what's calling you, the call lets you know you will get there if you simply move in the direction that presents itself. All right?
Yes.
Does that help you?
Yes.
All right. And anything else?
Is where I belong in this earth.
Do you mean the physical location again? Or your place
Yes.
as a person?
Yes.
Wherever you want. However you want. You belong or you wouldn't be.
I understand that.
But what is it that makes you sad?
I don't feel like belong anywhere.
Anywhere at all?
Right.
All right. Now, you understand, we have said that if you have the feeling that you don't belong, then you have the belief that you don't.
Yes.
Where did that belief come from? Who did it come from? Did it come from your mother? Did it come from your father?
I haven't gone into that one yet.
Perhaps
I don't know the answer.
you ought to.
Okay.
Find someone who can assist you to find out who fed you the belief that you don't belong anywhere. When you begin that journey, you will realize it's just a belief you've been fed and it's a belief you swallowed.
Right.
It's time to let it out.
Right.
Because it's not empirically true. Because if it was, believe me, you wouldn't be here. You couldn't be.
I understand that. But
I know you say you understand it, but what you need to do is understand
Right.
it.
I understand.
And so, find out where the belief comes from. If you understand that your feeling stems from a belief, find out where the belief came from so that you can deal with it. All right?
Yes.
I'm not saying it will be easy, but begin that journey. And more quickly than you can possibly imagine, you may find yourself standing on the shores of Italy.
Okay.
All right?
Yes.
In all ways, both literal and metaphorical, because that's where you belong. All right?
Thank you.
And again, remember, you're not alone. There are many who are helping you, whether you know it or not. So, find out. All right?
Thank you.
Begin your journey this way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And a good day.
Thank you so much for sharing your information with us.
And thank you as well.
What message which comes from diagram
Which
was
diagram?
that's 12 circles with like a spiral.
You mean the 19 circles?
Oh, 19 circles,
All
yeah,
right.
in spiral.
Yes.
That I signed contract which I will experience in my presence on earth, that I'm not going to be loved.
No.
No?
No. Not this life. Those contracts have expired in the cycle of human experience. You have signed a contract that may make you go through the experience of believing that you're not going to be loved, but the contract is not written so that you actually won't be loved. Only that you will go through the experience of doubting that you will.
Oh, I see.
Oh, good.
But thanks. But what comes to me that, anyways, if I just go through experience or I sign contract, that I attract to myself situation in my life
Yes.
that prove to me that I'm not loved, even though I know
All right.
for I love.
But again, proof is subjective and you create the proof.
Right.
So you're just reinforcing the idea of going through the experience of proving to yourself that you will not be loved, but that's not true. You have to look beyond the illusion you are creating for yourself. You must shift your gears and go from the illusion of power and shift to the power of the illusion.
Do
You
have
are
any-
finding yourself lost in the illusion of power. You are believing that the reality is real. It's not. You must use the power of the illusion by knowing it's only as real as you believe it to be. So what you're going through in creating proof that you are not loved can easily be, once again, contradicted by the fact that you exist. Because if you really were not loved on any level whatsoever, you wouldn't exist. The universe would not support you. You couldn't exist. Now, through the idea of the experience of what you might call the expression of human love,
Yes.
you will go through the idea of doubting that it can be possible for you. But that's the experience you're going through, is doubting that it can be possible. And because you doubt it, you will create proof that it's not possible, because every belief system is self-reinforcing. Otherwise, you couldn't experience it as a reality. If your beliefs were not self-reinforcing and self-perpetuating, you would not be able to have any particular experience in physical reality. So if you create the belief that it's not possible for you to be loved, you have to understand that within that belief, a component of the mechanism of that belief will be the proof that you're right. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to really fully experience what you have created. But you have created it. It's not real. Once you understand that, you will move out of it. And you will see that, of course, you can be loved and will be loved in this life. But your journey is to prove that to yourself. Just
Right.
as you are proving that you can't be loved. You
Right.
must now understand that if you can prove you can't be loved, you can just as easily prove that you can.
Yes, you're right, because my guides, they keep saying me that I can express myself just through unconditional love and
Yes.
spread it all over me and
Yes.
just express it to
Yes.
the world.
And again, the paradox is you don't do that in order to get someone else to reflect it back to you. You do it because that's who you are. And when
Right.
you do it because that's who you are, others will not be able to help but reflect it back to you. But don't do it to get the reflection. Do it because that's just who you are, and you have no other choice but to be that you. That's a critical secret. The point of the idea of desire and what you choose is that you choose to be these people because you have no other choice. You must be that person. There is no other choice. So you decide. Be the person who absolutely has the brilliance and the capacity to absolutely prove you cannot be loved, or choose to be the person who knows beyond a shadow of a doubt you can prove just as easily that you can be loved.
Right.
It's up to you. There is no reality other than what you believe it to be. There is nothing outside you. There is no outside. Nothing is happening to you. It can't. It can only happen through you, because you are all there is in your reality.
But
What?
what's interesting that this thought just came to me
Yes.
during this meditation,
Yes.
and I've never thought about it before. So
Good. That means it's working. It means it's bringing up issues. It means it's putting you in touch with belief systems that you can change. So very good. You've used the tool well. It's put you in touch with something you need to deal with.
Oh,
So
I see.
congratulations. Now you can deal with it. But when it comes up, don't apply the old belief system and say, oh, now that belief system that I don't prefer has come up, I'm stuck with it. No, apply the tools again and recognize it's just a belief system, and you can use the same tools that brought it to your attention to change it.
right.
Because that's all it is, a belief.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. So.
Why, thank you. Does that help you?
Yes, thank you so much.
Well,
I have a
yes.
short question.
Yes.
Can you comment raising kids and behaving in a family between parents and especially teenagers?
Well, that's quite a comprehensive subject on your planet. The idea that we will simply say in general, of course, is to understand that what you typically call adults on your planet actually are still children for the most part. And therefore they are raising children and not really capable of showing them what adults should actually act like. So what do you expect? But to simply perpetuate more children who themselves don't know how to actually raise children into adulthood.
So just let them be themselves?
No, not let them be themselves in a chaotic way. Teach them who they really are so they can then be their true selves. Do you understand the difference?
But if we don't know who we are,
But
how
you can
we
learn
change?
to. Raise yourself, then you can raise the children.
Right.
You understand? I'm just
Yes.
giving you a broad overview because it's a very deep subject that right now in your time frame we don't have time to go deeply into. But generally speaking, you must raise yourself so you can truly raise children into adulthood. But you have to bring yourselves up. One of the strong ways you could do this, if you have any recognition at all, is to recognize that the idea is to nurture what the child's natural talents are in a number of given ways and let them interact and participate in the idea of how to express their talent rather than attempting to push them and mold them into a box. To teach them, let them teach you how they would actually learn best by calling upon what excites them and formulating the things you think they need to learn in terms they're excited to interact with. So you're speaking their language as a person.
Yes.
Don't force them to learn a language they don't understand. Teach them what you want to teach them in a language they do understand, which means a style of approach that represents how they express their excitement in life and convert all the things you think it's important for them to understand into those terms so they will be excited about learning those things, because once you convert it into their terms, they can relate to it and see how it applies in terms of living a loving, fulfilling life. Does that make sense?
Yes. So if for some reason I don't like the behavior or how my kid is acting,
Yes.
I have to just
Engage them
Right.
in a conversation and allow them to explain the reasons why. Help them learn how to get in touch with the reasons why they are choosing that behavior. Because when you allow them to tell you, when you help them get in touch with the reasons why they are displaying that behavior, they will be able to explain to you why they made that choice. And you can discuss with them the concept of choices and consequences and let them understand that you treat them as an intelligent being that learns the difference and understands the concept that there are consequences to choices, and let them understand they don't have to make choices that society says they have to make, that they can learn how to expand beyond society's definitions to make choices that will truly allow them to express who they are in life, and they can live fully by doing so. But it will take perhaps learning on both of your parts. You may have to raise each other.
Thank you so much.
Does that help you?
Yes, it does.
Well, we love you. So thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Bashar,
Yes?
I have been taking photographs of orbs for the last year.
Orbs, yes.
Yes, and I'd like to gain more insight and clarity from you about who
Oh,
they
all right.
are, why they're here.
Well,
What
there
is the
are a
message?
variety of reasons. Generally speaking, you might call them nodes of consciousness. Some of them can be manipulated and utilized almost in the sense of probes to gather information. Do you understand?
Can you say more?
It is a manipulation of the idea of certain kinds of electromagnetic energies pitched at certain frequencies, so it can be remotely manipulated to gather intelligence and information about certain scenarios on your planet. Sometimes you will be sensitive to seeing them with your physical eyes. Sometimes only your camera equipment will be capable of actually registering them at that frequency. But they are manipulations of electromagnetic energy consciousness at a certain pitch, in a certain pattern, that allows them to remotely gather and send vibrational information. That is one way what you are experiencing is expressed. There are other ways as well that are similar to what I'm saying, but they're actually more self-directed rather than being directed remotely by others. In that sense, they are actually manifestations to some degree of intelligences outside your dimensionality that are capable of manifesting a part of their consciousness in your dimension through their focus and interest in your dimension. So they are still gathering information and learning and exploring, but they themselves, those orbs are themselves a representation of an actual intelligence rather than simply being remotely used by an intelligence. But the manifestation is similar as an interface between one dimension and another. Does that make sense?
It's starting to make sense. And so I'm wondering, are part of these orbs, could they be my guides? Can you show up as an orb in a camera?
I can and I have.
Okay.
Yes.
Are my guides? My understanding is that
Sometimes.
some of my guides are showing up.
Sometimes, yes.
Okay. And I'm noticing that they do show up more when there are a lot of people and when there's an energy of joy
Yes.
in the room. I'm noticing
Well, that
pattern.
vibration is more conducive to the interdimensional interface becoming more crystallized in a way that you can perceive it. Because the more you match the frequency of the dimension that they may be coming from, the more you will be able to perceive the manifestation from that dimension. You're matching their frequency. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right,
And
and
so I'm wondering if there's any way I can use them to serve me, to serve the planet. How can I
well,
be
ask
working?
them.
Okay.
Ask them
Okay.
and see what you get.
Okay.
You can apply that question to the tools we have also shared with you today. When you use the spiral and go into the center, you can ask the question and see what you get, and then pay attention to your dreams as well and the synchronicities in your life. Very often, please understand, all of you, when you ask questions of guides and other beings that might have connections to spirit dimensions or other frequency dimensions or domains, very often the answers you get will actually play out more likely in the synchronicities that occur in your life than in an actual voice in your head. Because the things that are going on in your reality, the props that are already in your reality, are already in front of you. They're already, shall we say, commanding your attention. So it's easier to deliver a message using the props that are already in front of your face than it is to divert your attention to something and some methodology that you're not used to getting. I'm not saying it can't happen, but the easier way often to deliver a message is when you're not really paying attention or looking for it, and just let the things in your life, in a sense, carry the information to you from the other dimension. It's easier to get your attention that way. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Does that help you?
Yes, thank you. Just
Yes.
one more tweak.
Oh, tweak.
Yes.
All right.
The orbs show up on my camera all the time. They've started showing up for my mom, but I have other friends who have the exact same camera and they're not showing up on theirs. So
Yes.
how does...
Well, again, it has to do with frequency and vibration. I'm not saying every camera has the capability. It has to do also with the receptivity of the vibrational state you create in that encounter. Because remember, you and the camera are also moving into that state. Does that make sense?
Yes.
The camera is an extension of your senses. And if you are more synchronized or harmonized with the intelligence coming through from the other dimension, then you will take yourself and everything with you closer to that vibration. It will be easier in that sense to record that encounter. Do you follow?
Yes, thank you, Bashar.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Last night I had an encounter with an extraterrestrial who,
In what way?
when they spoke to me, they were actually singing in a very joyful manner, and I was feeling intense vibration.
Singing.
And what they said was, repeated several times, was Solo Han, and then said planet, and I kind of, in my mind, said contact, and they said yes, and then it was over.
All right.
So
They were using an archetypal symbol that you are used to in your reality that they knew would be easier to reach you through. You understand the name they gave you as it is represented in your science fiction mythology?
what I found with quick research was, I know what Solo meant. Han was a almost extinct language from the...
It has double meaning, but Han Solo is a character in your Star Wars mythology.
Yes.
And so they knew that because your mind was attuned to that, it would be easier to get you to recognize the transmission and what they were by using an archetype that you would identify with that kind of reality, as well as the other meanings that it has. These messages are never delivered with a single meaning. It's always multidimensional. So, Han Solo is representative of the character to get your attention on a certain level. Han also being representative of the multilingual idea, which represents multidimensionality, multi-intelligences, multi-expressions. And contact, meaning, yes, you are actually in contact with an intelligence, and we're, in that sense, able to let you know that by being able to activate the portions of your mind and your memories and your archetypal understandings that are tuned to our frequency more easily. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
It's simply like knowing what channel, what frequency your radio operates on and making sure that the message is sent on the same frequency. They stimulate those portions of your archetypal energy that will be able to perceive that they have been stimulated, that a message has been sent. Make sense?
Yes.
So, how did that feel?
Very amazing.
Oh, more amazing. Yes. Does that help you?
Yes, it does. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, at this time, we would like to take you through one short, final journey with regard to this information. So everyone become comfortable. Close your eyes if you wish. Take a deep breath in and let it out. Take a deep breath in and let it out. Take a deep breath in. Hold it. Don't let it out. Don't let it out. Don't let it out. Now let it out. All right. Now, when I say the following words, one at a time, with each utterance, with each word, just let yourself and your imagination associate whatever feelings, sounds, colors, people, situations, ideas you wish. Just see what comes up for you. Whatever comes up for you, vibrationally, feeling-wise, picture-wise, when each of these words are said, will begin to give you a clue as to what belief systems you may hold in your core to be true, and will give you some material to work on. So, one at a time, just pay attention to what you get with the following words. Desire, Just let yourself observe the full spectrum of all your responses and reactions to the word desire. See what comes up. Desire. Desire. Take a deep breath in and let it out. Definition. 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 Take a deep breath in and let it out. Dedication. 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 Take a deep breath in and let it out. Detachment. 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 Take a deep breath in and let it out. As part of the overall tools, with everything else we have said this day of your time, when you are in the appropriate, creative, playful place to do so, in whatever way you wish, write these 4 words down and display them in your home or wherever you wish to remind you of your desire to define your dedication to detachment. No expectation, but allowance, allowance, allowance. Have fun with these exercises. The more fun you have with them, the faster they will expand. And the more you will recognize how much fun you deserve to have. Our unconditional love to you all. Good day.